there is a critical XRP ledger update that I believe has actually gone live. I think either a developer or validator that left that link in X. So I think it's actually gone live. It's a critical update for the XRP ledger that's going to affect everything, including DeFi. I'm going to talk about that in a minute, but look at this big red bubble here. So this is the World Liberty Finance WLFI token, which is associated, as you guys know, with the Trump family. Okay, so this has clearly experienced quite a dump. It actually dumped a little bit harder, up to 50% after its release. Look at it plummeting like crazy. But in the last 24 hours, minus 22.6%, because of course people are taking profits. Now, the thing about World Liberty Finance, I think actually in the long term has some good potential as long as the current president in his position is there and he's got his supporters. I think World Liberty Finance would do well, even though there are other people who are in control of World Liberty Finance. The association with the Trumps, it's what's giving it all the clout, right? At the moment, again, obviously they're doing things with crypto.com. They're actually doing a lot of projects that will eventually stand alone. You know, of course, we have the stable coin that they're doing as well that will eventually, you know, bring in their own utility, yada, yada, yada. And it would stand alone on its own outside of the whole Trump influence eventually. But as for now, the big swings that we're seeing are because of the pumps and dumps associated with the meme effect of being associated with Trump. There's another factor, though, that just rubs me the wrong way. I'm not a big fan of this guy. Anyone who's been in crypto long enough recognizes this guy immediately, and anything he touches, man, just goes to crap. I'm sorry to say. Justin Sun moved WLFI. Is he planning to sell? This happened on the 3rd, so this was yesterday. Surprise, surprise, the price dumps. Okay, so chances are, I'm not saying that's what he did, chances are this gentleman has taken profits massively. He's known to do stuff like that. He was implicated allegedly in the Terra Luna crash that we saw in 2021. So he's got very, very deep pockets. He knows a lot of people and he has a lot of friends in high places. He's contributed to a lot of political candidates. So, you know, he's a one-man lobby all by himself. He also has a lot of money and he's a giant whale. He has his own cryptocurrency chain called Tron, which just stays in the top 20. I don't know why that coin is still there. Originally, it was one of the OG competitors for Ethereum and then, you know, for others, but then kind of just lost steam as things like Solana, Avalanche and stuff took over. But it's still sticking around for whatever reason. He is the one that bought Steemit originally. I think he's let that go now and completely destroy that platform. And, you know, everything that he's touched, I don't know, hasn't done very well. And he just rubs me the wrong way. And everything he does just seems to like not do very well, unfortunately. There's always some sort of weird stuff going on in the background. So this is my personal bias, of course. He might be a great guy in real life. Nobody knows. But on to the XRP ledger. All right, so the guy that posted this is called Vet. And I believe he's a validator. This is an X post. In 15 hours, the credentials amendment on the XRP ledger will be active. Credentials can be applied to attest a compliance requirement like KYC, AML, that's anti-money laundering protocol, for a user institution and issued to their decentralized identity. That decentralized identity part is quite important and kind of like balances out the effect of the other two. Here it is. And if you look at the post on the XRP Ledger's website itself, xrpledger.org, you can read about what this actually does. And I've just highlighted here. Credentials are signed statements that can be stored in the ledger and can attest to a user's identity. So authorizers who want to limit specific actions or interactions to users who possess the correct credentials, or issuers who provide credentials to use who meet the criteria, users who obtain credentials for issuers that use those credentials to interact with authorizers. Use cases with the XRP ledger, you can use Deposit Authorization to automatically allow senders with the correct set of credentials instead of approving sending accounts individually. So that's quite important. Future amendments could further extend credentials to gate access to other features such as holding tokens, participating in lending pools, and contributing to AMM. I can see what people are thinking already. This is a massive control, update for the XRP ledger. It gives all sorts of ways to natively control what people are doing. So basically, this is a massive compliance update. This is targeting XRP ledger towards the institutions and towards regulations, right? But what it tries to do, which is why I highlighted this bit here, is protect the user's privacy. Okay, so that's what it's trying to do. So the credential features is a set of tools for managing authorization and compliance requirements using the XRP Ledger's blockchain while respecting privacy and decentralization. Okay, so the KYC process would be done via credentials on the decentralized platform where nobody knows who you are per se, even though, with the appropriate tools, they can find out. But, you can have credentials to do things and not do things. So it's not saying that it's going to stop you from doing DeFi or doing things on DeFi. It just allows companies, authorities that want to participate in DeFi or want to create a DeFi environment to set credentials, to set, rules and regulations to comply with their local KYC or AML regulations so that they can launch their product. And then people who want to participate in that can decide or not to get credentials to participate in those products. Also, you can pre-approve payments from institutions or so-called credible individuals that have the credentials, so you don't have to do particular checks on them. So again, it's starting to smell a bit funny, like what happens in China with the social credits or whatever. This could easily go that direction, but obviously the power is still with the people who create actual decentralized environments. As it is now, we have centralized exchanges that already implement relatively strict KYC on people who access their platforms. But what this does is gives authorities the ability to do that without invading the privacy of the user. So it's going code level. Another thing that this is going to do is, again, put the XRP ledger ahead of other platforms who do not have this protocol on chain. Everybody's going to have to do this eventually when the regulations come pouring in, but a lot of the other people will have to use third parties for that, which will, one, breach the privacy of the user, two, slow down the whole process. So if you were to take an Ethereum EVM based token, for instance, this credentials part will still need to be done in terms of to comply with KYC and anti-money laundering regulations in their jurisdiction, but they would have to contact a third party to do it, probably XRP Ledger, right? So that's going to slow down the process and make things take longer. This is something that's going to be native to the XRP Ledger, which is going to speed up the process even more and give it yet more advantage over other chains. So, depending on how you look at it, it's a W, it's an L, more control, more institutional involvement, but at the same time, at least trying to protect privacy and decentralization. Not financial advice. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.